As I'm sure many of you are aware by this point, a massive severe weather outbreak bringing the threat for damaging winds, large hail, and even some strong tornadoes is going to be coming to sections of Dixie Alley this weekend. But right now on social media, there are a lot of lies being told about this system. So today here, we're going to give you the honest truth, the facts, and all the answers to the questions that you've been asking about these storms. So let's go ahead and get right into it, starting off by taking a look at the Storm Prediction Center outlook for Saturday here. We can see that we've got an enhanced risk of severe weather that spans from sections of east central Texas all the way back into areas like west central Alabama. This includes almost 4 million people in this area. Outside of that, we got our slight risk, which encompasses over 20 million people from Nashville all the way back down towards the Houston metro area. Now, the first of many lies that is being told about this system is that this will likely go to a moderate or even a high risk level on the SPC scale, which, if you don't know, a high risk is the highest level that they can possibly issue. And I'm here to tell you right now with 100% certainty that that is not going to happen. There are several environmental factors with this setup here that are not going to allow for a level from the SPC to be issued up that high. We got this enhanced risk in place, and I think it's here to stay, but an upgrade to a moderate risk even is somewhat unlikely, so an upgrade to a high risk is completely out of the question. Now, something to note with this Storm Prediction Center outlook here is that if we take a look at the probabilities, we can see that we do have this hatched risk, which means we are going to have the threat for not only severe weather, but significant severe weather, which is the threat for either destructive winds of 75 miles an hour or greater, hail of 2 inches or larger, or even a few strong tornadoes. So if you are out here in this red shaded area, make sure to be on the lookout. Now, if we go ahead and take a look at the NAMS model's outlook here for this event, we can see that we're going to be pretty calm here over the next couple of days, but as we approach time frames like Friday night, we start to see some moisture pumping out from the Gulf of Mexico across sections of eastern Texas, maybe parts of northern Louisiana and southern Arkansas as well. And by Saturday morning, this is going to be ending up in sections of the mid-Mississippi Valley, producing several strong to even isolated severe thunderstorms across this region here, mainly bringing a threat for flash flooding. We're going to have a moderate risk for flash flooding across sections of Appalachia, so if you are out here, make sure to be on the lookout. We're not just watching Dixie Alley for a severe weather threat, but also sections of the Ohio Valley for a major flooding threat. Now, as we go into Saturday afternoon, this is where this real severe weather threat starts to kick up. We can see a band of showers and thunderstorms developing across sections of eastern Texas, and we can see this big line of storms developing all the way from sections of the Boot Hill of Missouri back down through parts of Louisiana by Saturday evening here, and this is going to continue to push eastward. Now, as many of you guys probably know, usually whenever we see QLCS and derecho-like events like this, we end up seeing an enhanced threat for damaging winds, but a lower threat for some tornadoes. But as we go into late Saturday night, we are expecting a few discrete supercells to potentially pop up in front of our line of storms across sections of Louisiana and Mississippi. And if any one of those cells were to take advantage of all the environmental factors that we are going to have out here, they certainly could produce a brief, strong tornado or two. And obviously, embedded tornadoes are always going to be a possibility in our line of storms as well, but I think the line is mostly just going to be a damaging wind threat. However, it will be a significant one, bringing a threat for damaging winds up to 70 to even 80 miles an hour all the way from sections of Kentucky back down through the Gulf Coast. So if you are out here in Dixie Alley, make sure to be on the lookout. Now, this is the most interesting part of this setup, in my opinion, the dew points. If we take a look at the future track dew points here on the NAM model, we can see that, again, by tomorrow night, we are going to see some dew points rise into the 50s and even the lower 60s across sections of the Gulf Coast here, but they really don't start cranking until Saturday. But as early as Saturday morning at 7 a.m., we see dew points nearing 70 degrees along the immediate Gulf coastline from areas like southeast Texas all the way back through southern sections of Alabama. And by the time that we get to midday, those dew points are skyrocketing. We're going to be talking about dew points into the 70s all the way into areas like central Louisiana and central Mississippi, which even for the deep south, seeing that in February is incredibly rare and just shows how much moisture we are going to have supporting these storms in this event. So these dew points are going to continue to trek eastward as the night goes onward, and eventually they're going to make their way into the 60s as well across sections of Georgia and the Carolinas likely, but the NAM model does not go far enough out to forecast that. Now, with every severe weather setup, you're going to need two main ingredients. You're going to need surface-based cape and some wind shear to support these thunderstorms, and we are going to have plenty of that overlapping, especially across sections of Dixie Alley on Saturday, all right? This is Saturday afternoon at about 2 p.m. p.m. We can see that we've got an elevated area of Cape across sections of Louisiana and southwest Mississippi, and I think especially across areas like northeast Louisiana and west central Mississippi, we are going to have some enhanced wind shear values, and I think that we could end up seeing the most significant part of this severe weather threat in that region, so that's something to keep in mind. Areas like Jackson, Mississippi, areas like Lake Charles, Louisiana, be on the lookout, because I do think that you could end up being some of the hardest hit areas out of this event. Now, if we take a look at the NAM model here for the southwestern United States tonight, we are dealing with some thunderstorms down in the Los Angeles Metroplex. We even have a severe thunderstorm warning at the time of filming for downtown LA, mainly just for the threat of some isolated damaging winds up to 60 miles an hour. But we're also going to be seeing some snow up there in the higher elevations with this system. This is kind of a little mini atmospheric river event, all right? Areas like Los Angeles are not going to be dealing with these thunderstorms too much longer. By 3 a.m. tonight, we can see that we are going to still have a lot of those thunder showers and those snow showers up in the higher elevations of California, but outside of that, we can't really expect too much precipitation. Some snow showers will be entering areas like the Rockies, and by the time everything is said and done here, we could have some somewhat significant snow totals. This is going to be on top of what we already have in these areas, but we could see another up to an isolated area of a foot of snow across sections of the highest elevations of California, and that's going to kind of be the similar story with all these western states out here. Mainly only going to end up seeing some snow if you're way up in the mountains, but those areas that do see some snow, it could be quite heavy, so we could be talking about 1 to 2 feet in localized regions of Colorado, Utah, Nevada, California, Wyoming, and Idaho especially. Now, finally, what can we expect here after this event? Well, we can see that obviously we're going to have this Dixie Alley system sweeping through here over the weekend, but after that makes its way through, brings some severe weather down to the deep south, some snow to the northeast, we could be talking about another system doing something similar here pretty soon, except for we are going to have a lot more of that cold air spilling in from Canada, all right? We can see that we're going to have the sub-500 line dipping all the way down into the United States, and this is going to lead to an Arctic blast for sections of the Midwest as well as the Ohio Valley, and potentially even make this system bring some snow here to portions of the southern plains, areas like the lower Mississippi Valley even. Now, for areas along the Gulf Coast, this is not going to be anything like Winter Storm Enzo, where we had a foot of snow along the Gulf Coast. This is going to be a severe weather threat for you guys, but areas just off to the north of you, areas like Birmingham, Alabama, all right, we're talking, maybe Atlanta, Georgia even, they are going to have a decent chance to pick up on some significant snowfall totals if this event were to play out like this. If we take a look at the total precipitation expected, obviously a very early look here since this storm still has a while to come, we can see that we are going to be expecting anywhere from a half foot of snow and even up to 9 inches of snow all the way up into sections of southeastern Kansas and southwestern Missouri. The DFW Metroplex could pick up on a good half foot of snow there if things were to play out like this. Same thing for sections of northern Louisiana and central Mississippi. So I just thought that would be interesting to know. Obviously, we are forecasting very far out with this on the GFS model, so take it all with a grain of salt, but it is still very interesting. Now, before we end off this video here, I would like to quickly thank all of our channel members. You guys are the best. You help support me in the craziest way possible. Again, it is just mind-boggling how many people have decided to go that extra mile in becoming a channel member. If you'd like to do so as well, you can do so by clicking the link down in the description. You get access to exclusive videos, custom emojis to use in chat, and shout-outs at the end of every video just like this. So thank you all for tuning in. Make sure to click that subscribe button as well. We're very close to 3,300 subscribers, and I will see you all in the next one. Stay safe.